All right, we're back. JuddzBudz Budz, episode 160.
Nailed it.
As always, your host, Spokesy, joined with my good buddy, Mr. At State of Hoppy. Hoppy, how we doing?
Depends on how this draft lottery goes.
It's true. Draft lottery tonight. Round 2 starts tonight, but more on that later. Anything good this week going on? Anything fun other than hockey stuff, you know?
This week? No. I wish that I could say there was.
Nice.
But no, it's pretty lame. How about you?
Yeah, no, pretty terrible. Nothing good, really. Nothing good at all.
Well, terrible is different than lame.
Yeah, no, just nothing
So
good.
Bad things. Okay.
But one thing that is funny, though, is I just read the title of this stream. Apparently, the Vegas Golden Knights are, in all caps, playing the Edmonton Oilders next. All caps. The Oilders. I don't know who the Oilders are, but that's who Vegas is.
He's had far worse typos before, but the caps lock will, until the end of time, fascinate me.
Yeah, and also the caps lock really, it's a nice start to the title. The end. Michael Rossi is gone. Vegas Golden Knights playing. Edmonton Oilers next.
Dude, this is like, I think we're going to have a rap song come out of this.
I think so, dude. I think that's what's going on.
Michael Rossi is gone.
It's like slam poetry, actually, really.
Slam poetry, yes.
This is about to be a fucking slam poetry fucking roast session.
From now on, all of our titles have to be haikus.
God. Yeah, good luck, Isha, with that one, if you know what a fucking haiku is.
Well, first things first, you got to know what a syllable is.
Well, I mean, let's not go too far. Let's just let him guess. Because I think we both know he doesn't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, not great. Not feeling great today. Hockey-wise, and just in general. But outside of the whole Minnesota aspect of it, pretty electric first round of the playoffs all around. Like,
I mean, even the Minnesota aspect, though, like, yeah, shitty result, but like it was a really good series.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like same exact result, but completely different feeling. Like, first of all, every game, but especially in totality after the series. But their dedication to the go up 2-1, losing 6 bit is unbelievable. Pretty impressive. That's just consistency, baby. But yeah, I mean, completely like in the past, it's been like, yeah, weren't really like there wasn't one game where it was like we do not belong on the ice right now, which is nice. Yeah, absolutely root for ABC, anyone but Chicago here in this draft lottery. I swear to God, if they fucking get the first overall pick, I don't even know. Actually, I'm going to be pretty pissed off about anyone that they end up wherever they slot in because they're getting.
But I mean, but Z, the key here is this is the first live lottery that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you would think, I'm sure there's a way that they could manipulate shit, but in theory, this is the first time we can't complain or claim cheating.
Yeah. I like the headline that they really, really wanted to draw the people in. The NHL headline on the app is NHL Draft Lottery to be held live on TV, comma. It will be, quote, really compelling, end quote, for fans.
Was it really compelling that was caps lock?
No, there was no caps. They did not go the Isha route. No slam poetry here. But yeah, no, they're I don't know why I think adding the quotations around really compelling is very funny. I don't know. Like, oh, where'd that quote come from? Who dropped that one? Yeah, let's see, 25 minutes from now. Tell you what, they're gonna fuck something up, which would be very funny. The NHL, they can't help themselves, but
accurate. Oh, God. It needs to be something that people can bitch about.
There will
something
be. There
has
always
to
will
go
be.
haywire. Let's see. I'm gonna sim right now. Simulating the lottery. Ooh, Nashville actually moved up one and Chicago moved back one. Everything else stayed the same. I could live with that.
That works. That's something. That's something.
Baby steps.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Vancouver Canucks Twitter account got hacked today, which is outrageously funny. They're just trying to like scam people in crypto, and they post a fucking like promo from quote our friend Elon Musk, which is fucking psychotic. Like,
That's incredible.
everyone was like, this could be a hack, but at the same time, given their behavior the last few weeks, someone 3 days ago was like, Jim Rutherford is about 2 days away from like, we're all about to find out that like his messages have been hacked from that fucking Signal app. And then this happened today. It was like, oh my God.
I loved the Nathan Grav guy posted Jim Rutherford. Be honest. Did you click on the all quotes and all past hot Swedish males in your area? That's the two bombs for
Holy internet.
mine.
I don't, yeah, it's one of ours. I don't know.
And it must be mine.
Oh, yeah, okay, it was you. Cosgrove said you were hacked. That's what we get for talking about it, I guess.
I probably was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it doing this?
You're freezing all over the place.
I should have good internet. If it does it again, I might just have to do a quick reboot and jump back in because it shouldn't be a problem. I don't know why it is. Good try, Mateo. Good try.
But yeah, no, for real though, anyone but Chicago, that works. If they get the number one overall pick, I'll lose my mind. But I mean, whatever. They're gonna get a player that I don't want them to get anyway, so it is what it is.
I like that ABC plug though. We're gonna use that one moving forward.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Should we just jump into like some playoff series here?
Let's give her. Do we, I guess, start in the East, move gradually west?
Yeah, Battle of Ontario. Leafs pull it off. Man, they really, unlike the Wild, they couldn't stay dedicated to the bit. It was looking dangerously close, especially going up 2-0. It was in the third period too, or did they score in the second? I can't remember. 2-0. And then Ottawa storms back. That fucking goal from Perron was sick. God damn it. What a goal. Banks it off Stolarz. But then, I mean, this is a different Toronto team. They storm back right away, go back up 3-2, hang on to win. But I was really hoping that they would be sticking to their bit, losing, going to 7 on. This I would have been on home ice, so I guess maybe it would have been different. Who knows? But they move on. Thoughts on the series overall?
It's really weird that I felt really good about both teams. It's kind of weird to say, but like Ottawa showed out. They played better than a lot of people probably expected. And the Leafs, you can say what you want about them not closing after a 3-0 lead in the series. They largely played really well.
Yeah, I mean, even just like in that last game, the fact that they were able to, like, once they just give up that 2-0 lead, the fact they storm back right away and get the lead back. Like, it is, again, this is a very different Leafs team than in years past. I do think it was really good that they got a team like Ottawa in the round, not from the framework of like it's a weaker team, but like the Battle of Ontario is just like the resurgence of that rivalry with this different team that's very much a whole lot more physical. They got a lot more defensive presence now. They have a really good goalie in net for them. I think it was a nice, like, it was just important for them to get this kind of a series first. Because like as fun as it is to like watch them go up against like the Lightning or the Bruins the first round, at this point it's almost like old now. So it was like a little bit different again, but still the Battle of Ontario, still a lot of history there. But they largely looked really good throughout the whole series. Ottawa had flashes in the beginning. And I thought Stolarz just was sitting on his head for a few periods there. But I mean, the Leafs got scoring from all over the lineup. Guys like Benoit even put in some points there, some big points for them. They had guys in the back end that were able to defend, and Brandon Carlo's the guy where it's just like, hey, if you don't really notice him out there, it's probably a good thing. It probably just means the puck's staying out of the net when he's on the ice. And again, Stolarz played really well. Ottawa now has a jump-off point. So let's see what they do in this offseason, who they bring back. But yeah,
they're not going to blow it up, which I think is critical for them.
Yeah, exactly. But a little momentum going into next season for them. So the Atlantic is just going to continue to be 6-7 teams that are going to be vying for a playoff spot. We'll see what happens with, really just Buffalo, kind of Detroit, which they're still going back and forth on, which is very funny. But yeah, if you're, it would have been nice to not be a 3-0 and then cut it to 3-2. It would have been really nice, much more fun, obviously, with the game 7, but a little bit more back and forth those first 3 games, which even then, I guess there were a bunch of overtime games anyway. So, either way, just good hockey all around. And again, this is a different Leafs team. We said it before, Matty Nice was a beast. He's fucking awesome. Throw an offer sheet at him. Kyle, do it. See what they do. But yeah, if you're both teams, you probably come out. Obviously, disappointed if you're Sens fans, but it's a jump off point. And if you're the Leafs, you have to like the way that they won the series and the way they approached their game. So, but yeah.
And I'm just glad that it was a series, right? The way it started, it could have gone south real fast. I don't know. It's just a bummer because we look at the other series and it's I expected so much more.
Yeah, and we could just move right into that series with who they have next.
It
wasn't even a battle of Florida. It was a battle because there were some games where guys were just throwing fucking cheap shots, I guess. But other than that, if you were to tell me that this is how this series would have gone, I would have expected the flip-flop of the teams. My God, the Florida Panthers. What a fucking dominant series performance all around. And in that last game, of course, as literally while we were talking last week about it'd be really, I was saying, I would be really nice to see the Marchand get to play with some more offensive guys or whatever. They go off those last 2 games. Luster-Aiden is fucking really good. He's one of the underrated players in the league. I think that doesn't get enough shine just because he's in Florida. But that line, that trio together was real solid all series long, and they ended up getting some offensive production to end there. I think Luster-Aiden in that last game had 4 points. But Florida just took care of business. I don't know. I did not see that performance coming all around from either side. They really did a good job of just completely mitigating Kucherov outside of a few plays. There were flashes, obviously, because he's one of the best players in the world. But, they were just suffocating. They got a ton of scoring from their back end, too. Nate Schmidt, I think, ended up with 3 goals in that series. Ekblad's the only one that gets fucking suspended. Which, I tried to tweet out today the look at me, Steve Garvin fucking stealing TVs. That is not me. It's that's every single Florida Panther player in their Department of Player Safety meeting, except for Aaron Ekblad. They're we're going to throw the book at this guy every time. But fucking Bennett, Kachuk, yeah, fine. Who cares? Of course, you get that. It was a wild forearm shiver to the back of Hagel's head. Just trying to get justice or whatever. It's so obvious. It just gets all fucking literally just the back of his head. But yeah, unbelievably impressive all around from Florida. Production from all over. Fucking Bob did his thing again, even though there were a couple probably that he would have. I gotta always. I have to stop myself. I always say I hate when people say he's gonna want that one back. Yeah, no shit. Maybe he let in 1 or 2 softies, but at the same time, made plenty of timely saves. Beat Vasilevsky in that battle, obviously. But it was significantly more dominant from Florida than I ever could have anticipated, especially the way that they kind of limped into the playoffs. A lot of those guys were getting back to full health / still not even at full health. They just put on that kind of a showing. So unbelievable. So now, Florida, Toronto, I think it should be a really good series.
Well, real quick, like, I know to most people it sounds like a dumb question, but does Tampa need to consider a coaching change?
I don't think so. I mean, the thing that was so shocking was it in the clinching game where they literally gave up that lead and lost, like, in the last minute or whatever? Was that the series clincher?
I don't even know at this point because I feel like that's happened in like every series and it's all blurring together for me.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I mean, like, he's been able to, like, if you just look at that roster start of the year to now, like, we were coming to the season really not expecting a whole lot from them. And then by the time we hit the playoffs, they looked like a legit cup favorite. I'd say that would be aggressive, like, especially just maybe it's a personal thing where in Boston it's just like they've flipped over coaches like left and right, and it's just like kind of a shit show. I think they've got the consistency with him. Obviously, he's the longest tenured coach right now. I would imagine they don't really want to change him out. I'd still think he is probably. Is he the best coach? I don't know. Top 3 at least, obviously. But, like,
I mean, top 3, top 5, no question. It's got nothing to do with him not being equipped. It's just like at some point you have to do something different if you want a different result. You're not going to do an overhaul on this roster. That's just not going to happen. And I mean, a big piece of it is the right coach out there, right? You're not just going to move on from him and be like, let's figure this out. But I feel like there's guys out there that they could go after that could make sense. Like, obviously not an option anymore because I hate the Rangers, but, like, dude, if Mike Sullivan wanted to go there and, like, work, like, link up with Jake Gensel again, you gotta think long and hard about that, especially when you look at the postseason pedigree. Again, none of it's a slight against Cooper. It's just like he's been there for that long. Getting a new voice in there could completely revolutionize how that team plays. Because right now, they're a great team. Like, a lot of people had them going to the Cup final, and here you are losing in 5. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I still would stick with Cooper. Like,
I probably still would. I'd be afraid, but I think it at least warrants the discussion. That's all. But yeah, it's crazy going into this that everyone thought Florida was going to lose to Tampa largely, and now everyone is picking Florida over Toronto. So, riddle me that.
Yeah. I really, watching those games, like, I was legitimately shocked by, like, just how good Florida was in every area, every aspect of the game. Like, it was crazy. I don't really know why I was so shocked. Maybe it was just the fact that they really did limp in the playoffs. A bunch of those guys were hurt coming in.
Yeah.
Less just like their ability to, like, plug in players that really, like, weren't wanted where they were before, or, like, whatever. Maurice's ability to just, like, plug guys in the right spots and just, like, make small takeaways throughout the lineup and just find those right combinations is unbelievably impressive. But just outstanding fucking play from the Florida Panthers, and they get the time to rest up a bit. Some of those guys that were somewhat injured coming to the playoffs, they get a few more extra days before they start off tonight. So
keep riffing on this series for just a second. I'm just gonna. Mateo says I need a reboot. I'll be back on in like 1 or 2 minutes. Shouldn't be long.
Sounds good. But yeah, anyone that was fucking following along with us last week, it's just typical me being an absolute mush. Whatever I say, always assume the opposite's going to happen. Because, again, I just mentioned it, but, like, I was talking about how it would be really nice to see Marchand get elevated, get some playing time or some shifts with some more offensive players. And, of course, the next 2 games, he ends up with, like, 4 or 5 points of those 2. Lustranen has a 3-point game with a clincher. Lundell scores goals. I literally am the biggest mush in the world. It's ridiculous. But, again, like, all 4 lines, like, every player on that team has a role. Like, guys like Nate Schmidt scoring goals in the back end. Seth Jones, of course, gets that clinching goal too. I have also talked a lot of shit about how tired I am kind of fucking Paul Maurice. And his, like, I think sometimes he gets really glazed in the media, but god damn it, is he a good fucking coach. His ability to just figure out combos. It's going to drive me nuts because there's just no slowing them down over the next few years. They're going to be a very good team for a long time, despite the fact they don't have a ton of like high draft picks, but they've made the right moves and it's really paying off. But I mean, hats off to Maurice, the Florida Panthers all around. Like, it was pretty much domination from puck drop. So it is what it is.
Mateo, check me. Am I good?
You're way better.
All right. We're back. I'm sure everything you said was super accurate. This is going to be a weird series, in my opinion.
It's actually pretty funny because when you were away, what I was talking about, I'm an idiot and I'm never right about anything. So nice. that rocks. But yeah, anything else in this series before we move on?
I don't know exactly what you said, but I think the most fascinating thing to me is Stolarz going up against Bob. Like, that's just funny to me.
Yeah.
But also, this is Matty Nye's time to shine. Like, if they're going to do something, he's got to be one of the guys that's really pushing the card just because of the way that Florida plays. I can't decide what would be more enjoyable. Watching Marner dominate and Leafs fans all be like, yeah, we got to re-sign this guy, or watching him suck and everyone just boo him out of town.
Oh, I hope he dominates because, like, they'll still be conflicted. Like, they'll be like,
all right,
why won't he sign? Why won't he sign for $7 million? Actually, he should take a pay cut to stay here if he was a real Toronto boy. I also like that Stolarz. I think it was Stolarz. Someone asked him about going up against Matthew Tkachuk, and he was like, well, we had one Tkachuk in the first round, so I guess we're used to it. We'll just get the other one next. Should be fun. He has some great quotes in their pressers. He's funny.
He's just a fun guy.
Yeah,
and
like
Cameron, just shout out, by the way, for contribution. We will be getting to a ton of Minnesota Wild stuff later, and we will absolutely be addressing this. Just don't want you to think you're getting ignored, buddy. We just want to stay a little bit on track. I know we go off the rails pretty aggressively, but we're going to try our best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, then we can move on to the next, I guess, 2 series recaps and 1 series preview. Caps and Habs. That one was, I feel like I got the Canadiens team that I expected. And the Capitals just played better than I expected, really. And the bigger thing is that it was off the jump. I figured the Capitals would limp in, which I kind of did, but ended up not being that way in the series score. But I don't know. Like, was there any shock to you in this series? I know you're, like, dreading long-term what Montreal is going to be. And it's just the beginning of it. Is there a team that lost in the first round that's more excited about where they stand than Montreal? I can't imagine there is.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, I got pretty much what I expected from this series. Like, the Canadiens had a really strong push middle to the end of the year. A lot of it driven by those young players. Personal best season from their captain, Suzuki. He's a fucking awesome hockey player. I love him. Slavkovsky, same thing. Really impressive 2 years now, and I thought he was really good in the playoffs for them. I just, the Capitals just had too much all over their lineup. Tons of experience as well. Guys like Tom Wilson, Alexander Ovechkin. Like, and again, we talked about the addition of Anthony Beauvillier, his ability to, like, just go up and down that lineup and be a presence and, like, legit put some big time points on the board for them too. I figured they would just have too much. I feel like most of those games, Montreal was right in it. And then again, it was just that, like, just the fact that Washington had too much for them. But I just, like, you got a ton of flashes from those young Canadiens players, which, like, it makes me sick that they're in Montreal, but God, are they fun to watch play. Cole Caulfield scored some big time goals. Getting him, like, those guys just getting that playoff experience was huge for them, obviously. And
I do love for the Capital side of things that everyone's been talking about it like since the beginning of the season. It's been like earmarked that Ryan Leonard was going to be joining the team in April and ready to go. And everyone's like, hey, is this when the baton gets passed? And Tom Wilson's just like, the fuck you say?
how about I have my best ever season in the NHL and I make the whole first round, like 90% of it about me and killing people and scoring goals? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And the resurgence of Tom Wilson is the biggest thing that, like, I'm not going to say I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it on that level.
Yeah. No, he had plenty of shifts where he was like, I'm taking this game over right now. Again, like him fighting fucking Josh Anderson in their bench at the end of the period. Again, my favorite was Carrier slowly drifting away while the whole scrum's happening, and it's just in the fucking frame, you just see his head slowly like, fuck this shit, and then like next game he gets fucking absolutely destroyed by Tom Wilson leading up to that goal. But I mean, I don't know how much it changed my opinion on Washington, because I've been high on them the whole time, but at the same, like, there were plenty of sequences where I was like, oh, they're like even a little bit better than I had them pegged. Same time, it's against Montreal, first year in the playoffs in however many years, tons of young players. How much do you want to like factor that in? But they looked like a team that is more than capable of making a run. Like, they're getting contributions again from all over their lineup. Jacob Chychrun looks fucking awesome. And I mean, they're getting performances in the net, so it's kind of a sneaky, like one of the more intriguing second round matchups, because I actually don't really know what to make from them.
It's the hardest one for me to pick.
Yeah, like you could tell me it's going to be done in 5, and I'd be like, if you told me Caps, I believe you. Told me Canes, I believe you. I'm like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, we also didn't say our picks for the previous one. What do you have for Toronto, Florida?
I think I'm going to go Florida in 6.
I'm the same. Damn it.
Yeah. I think they split games 1 and 2, the first 2 games. And I think Florida puts the boost to them game 3 and 4. Toronto gets a win at home, and then they go back to Florida, and Florida takes care of business in game 6. This will be another one where it's like, I've seen too many people already be like, we're going to learn a lot in game 1. I'm like, you're not going to learn fuck all in game 1. Like, you're not going to learn. It's never game 1. Like, the Bruins kicked the shit out of the Panthers last year in game 1.
I think in some series it is that way, though. Like, I'm with you that it's not in this one, but there are a lot of series where I'm like, no, game 1's going to tell me so much that I need to know.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I don't see that being the case here, because we've got both teams largely like healthy and ready to go. Like, the reason that game 1 meant so much to me in the Florida Tampa series was like, what do the Florida players look like that haven't played for the last couple weeks, right? So,
answer, I don't know, incredible, nothing unbelievable, apparently, actually, but yeah, but just last thing on the Caps Habs series. Again, my biggest thing is just the fact that so many of those young players got really fucking valuable playoff experiences, and like made, like, guys like Hudson, Caulfield, Demidov, Slavkovsky not only got the experience of playing in
famously not Line
not Line but they got that, like, not only they got to play in that series. That was a good series for them to play, because it's how fucking physical it was, but all of them had games where they had some really big time plays, big sequences. And again, shout out Marty St. Louis for sticking with Demidov after a rough few first games. And he comes back home and looks really good in a couple of games there, and it still made some plays throughout the series. I think you saw the warts that he's going to have to adjust, just like as far as like being a consistently solid NHLer all around. But he's a young player, so you could say that about literally all of them. But
yeah,
really good experience for them. Really good, like, just series overall, just given how hard that the Caps play. And I thought they all had sequences where, like, fuck, they are going to be really good for a really long time, and it's going to suck for your boy Spoke Zeev.
Yeah, that's tough. But no, first time that Montreal's been in the postseason with Marty, he had such an itch to get out there and play. Like, he was an absolute playoff gamer. And that had to kill him to just sit back and be like, God, I could help so much. Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about as much as we need on that series. So let's go to the other side of this. I mean, it basically went exactly how everyone expected, right? Like, Carolina, New Jersey is the only one that had zero chaos, like zero false predictions, unless someone was a New Jersey fan. Not a whole lot to break down other than, like, Carolina looked exactly like Carolina should look, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, again, like I said this last week, sneaky, decent odds, depending on what they are, I guess, for Conn Smythe, just given the path was like this Slavin, because he's going to be playing 30 minutes a night. He's going to perform because that's what he does. They've got that route. Same time, this will be an interesting series for him. But my big takeaway from them in that first round was just how fucking good Svechnikov was. He was by far their best player. And after like the last 2 years of having those crazy injuries, missing a ton of time, and not really looking the same since he's come back, like he's had like stretches of games where he's been solid, but he's not putting up tons of points. The fact that he just had that monster of a series is like, I'm very happy for him, because he's such a fun player to watch when he's going. He's an
gonna fight Ovi and it's over.
Yeah, hopefully he remembers to avoid that one. What a crazy decision that was.
Dude, tight pants and tight jacket, Bucci is the one that's running the lottery, looks like. So wonderful. No chance anything could go wrong here. Mm-hmm. He's going to pull a ball out and it's going to be like covered in Parmesan.
But anyways, yeah, I like Svechnikov, really love when he's going. He's one of my favorite players to watch. And Taylor Hall's just been a fucking animal too since he's got there, and he gets rewarded with a 3-year extension. Really happy for him. But they did what they had to do in that first round. Buy them time, rest up, get some time before they take on the Caps. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is like quite just a pick 'em, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Yeah. Can anyone stand up to Tom Wilson? Maybe Brent Burns? Maybe.
Maybe not even. Hopefully they don't play him a lot, because he's looked terrible all year.
Yeah. Is Freddie back in and looking normal? That's one. But two, for me, it's like I know exactly what Carolina is, and I'm still uncertain what version of Washington we're going to see. Because, like, good, they got past the Canadiens. I thought they'd have more of a speed bump, and they really didn't. That said, the Canadiens are a drastically different team than the Hurricanes. And this is one where game one is probably going to tell me a little bit more. Like, I just want to see how these teams match up. What's the strategy from Washington's side on how they're going to line match? And, like, can Carolina stay out of the bullshit with some of the big boys with Washington? If they can, and they can stick to their game, I like the way that they're coached. I like the way that their team's constructed top to bottom. I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm going to say Carolina in 6, but the confidence level is so low on that. Like, this is the one series that, like you said, you could say it was a 5-game series and not say who won it, and I wouldn't know which one it was, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm going Carolina in 6, but again, like, the confidence is wavering on that one for sure.
Yeah, like you said too, this night. Realistically, I shouldn't have said game one never means anything. I don't know why. I just couldn't help myself.
I understood the sentiment, though.
Yeah.
It was just this is one
series. Both teams are playing drastically different teams. Like, this is it's crazy how different like the matchup is.
Neither of them were tested.
So it could be one of those things with like the first 5-10 minutes of game one, just a chess match. Same time, like, neither one of these teams are also like notorious for playing that way. Like, they are both fucking high octane, like north-south physical approaches. Like, Carolina,
can I extend it to
quantity, fucking shot volume, and everything?
I don't just want game one, by the way. I want the first 4 regulation periods. I want the first game, regardless of how deep it goes. Maybe it's overtime, and then the first period of game 2, because I want to see how the teams both adjust and come back as well. But those first 4 regulation periods, I'm very intrigued with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's your pick?
I think I'm going to stick Carolina, but I'm going to go in 7, even if it's back home or back in Washington or whatever. Same time, like I'm weirdly feeling less confident in picking Carolina than I was before. I don't know if it was just because how electric that Washington Montreal series was. We obviously saw more hockey between those two teams, but like I don't know if it was just the fact that I watched way more of that series than I did Carolina New Jersey. Because I mean there were even like sequences in the series against Jersey where I was like a little bit concerned, where like there were like 10 minutes in each game. I was like, oh, New Jersey is really like taking control right now. But then obviously Carolina was just too much given how like depleted that Jersey roster was. So I'm a little less confident in this one, but I'm going to go Carolina in 7. But yeah.
I like it. So let's take a quick pause then, since we got through the East. We've got the draft lottery coming here, and let's see, they had Hagens, Misa, and who? I missed one of them.
Was it
Who's
Schaefer?
all on here? And they've got all of the different GMs like tuning in remotely too, which gave me right away when they had all of them up there on their tiles. It gave me all the vibes of the Boston Bruins 2011 reunion during COVID, which was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All time. They also just announced the least shocking finalists for the Calder Trophy. You got Celebrini, Hudson, Dustin Wolf. Actually, I guess I'm not.
That was obvious.
Maybe I can't say that. Michkov was in the running. That being said, like I do.
There are people screaming
how good Dustin Wolf was and how important, like crucial he was for them to even sniff the playoffs. I think obviously like edges him over.
Hot take. Michkov might have gotten in, but then Demidov came in and played 2 games, and they're like, "Oh well, shit. Never mind. We can't put Michkov in now." Like,
we can only like one of these Russians. Yeah,
he's not even the best Russian. Like,
I can't help myself but wonder if it was a real quote or if this was just like a joke tweet from the notorious
Schaefer's the other one.
Flyers tweet. I forget what that, it's like Evil Gritty, I think it's a dude on Twitter. He like posts fake quotes and they're like very believable, but they're also outrageous. I don't know if it was him that tweeted this, but I did see when Tortorella got fired, it was like Michkov on Tortorella. It was like, I really just wish I was able to pull off a Michigan goal while Tortorella was behind the bench. I was like, I need that to be a real quote from Michkov because that's very funny. But I have a nagging suspicion that wasn't a real quote.
But maybe.
But I'm just gonna decide that it was at the same time, so it's fine. Let's see.
Okay, they're doing something now. Wait. No, they're pulling out like a... Oh, okay. That makes more sense. So they pulled out a case that's got the lottery balls, I think. Wait, what the heck is this? I'm confused.
It's loaded up on my phone. Oh, yeah, they're throwing the balls in there.
They're putting them in one at a time?
I like that they're showing just this is what this ping pong ball says. Number 5.
There's got to be like 100,
number
right?
6. I don't know.
They're giving everyone odds based on percentages.
It would be outrageously funny if they put each individual ping pong ball in one at a time.
They're going to, dude. I'm convinced. But also, the one case only has so many.
11, 12. Look at the fucking case of ping pong balls, dude. This is great.
I think you're a touch ahead of me. 11's just going in now.
Yeah, I'm at 14. That's it.
I'm very confused right now. If anyone knows what's going on, because I can't like hear what's going on the screen, because otherwise it's gonna all come in and mess with my audio. But like, what is this first draw?
They're flying around.
What is the first draw? What? I'm super confused.
All right, we're gonna sit in silence until the first one's drawn.
Well,
13, 12, 11, 10. Whoa. Oh, this is okay. No, we can't. This is going to be ridiculous. Now I see what they're doing. I don't know how to really. Ugh. This is fascinating. Ish is going to have to cut a lot of audio.
I'm lost. I probably should have listened at the beginning to what was going on here.
It's going to take a very long time before they even do the first team.
They all have possible numbers correlating to each team's odds. I don't know what that means in English. So ball number 2 is 11. First one was 7. Z, you got to run and get more beers.
Supposed to have a hard out in 45 minutes, but don't think that's
you are
supposed to.
That would have been a smart thing to lead with.
No, we'll be fine.
Well, that's the case. All right, let's continue then. Forget the lottery because I'm confused by what's even happening with it. As soon as there's a result and we actually have the teams, we will definitely jump back in and talk about it. Z, let's get to the going out west. We might as well lead with the Rantanen Bowl, which holy shit, did it become the Rantanen Bowl?
This is like really my overall takeaway from the entire first round is I'm a loser. I know nothing about hockey. I should not be allowed to watch anymore. Shouldn't be allowed to make predictions. I should delete my account. I should become like a cricket fucking Twitter account or something. Everything I say is wrong. I really thought Colorado was going to come out and just fucking dominate. Maybe not dominate, but the fact that Dallas played as well as they did without Robertson, without Heiskanen. Sagan had been back for 1 or 2 fucking regular season games before he stepped back in the lineup. Is ridiculous. So, I'm like, oh god. So
somehow confusing. Pittsburgh is still in this when a lot of other teams aren't. I'm fascinated.
Yeah,
but no, dude, I thought Colorado in 5. Like this blew my mind, and now they could get Robertson and freaking Heiskanen back. This is probably the front runner for the cup, is it not?
Yeah, probably.
Which is crazy to say in hindsight, but. There's a lot you can get into with Game 7, but nothing stood out more to me than post-game McKinnon. Yeah, they were missing their best forward and their best defenseman. So I have no idea what we can do to fix this.
That was the last part was like, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, oh,
when everyone's saying, everyone's already like banging the drums like, yeah, he's going to convince Crosby to come. It's like, you have nothing left to trade. You have nothing of value. You gave up all of your futures.
Yeah.
For this year, and it didn't work.
No. The one thing I can hang on to is the fact that I said if Dallas was going to, I don't think I said make it a series, but if they were going to pull us up, they were going to have to finally see like a dominant Mikko Rantanen, and at least we got that in 6 and 7. I think he only had 4 points in both games.
5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, 5, 6, and 7. Sorry. That first goal in Game 7 was so nasty. The sound that made off the barn end was sick. Again, Dallas, that barn is nuts in the playoffs, and it feels like, I don't know what it is, if it's like the camera angle or just the way the seats are oriented, but like it looks like there's 50,000 people in there. Those stupid lights going up the railing are annoying, but electric barn, very happy for Mikko Rantanen. But like the fact that they just did that again, like without Heiskanen, specifically for me, Heiskanen, because Robertson ended up with like really nice stat line at the end of the season. but like there were chunks where we would forget like what his
He's
deal
also
was.
far more replaceable.
Right. But Heiskanen being out, and then Thomas Harley steps up, was just a fucking animal for 7 games. He was like averaging almost 30 minutes a night. Pretty much exclusively good things happening with him on the ice. Like they had to use Petrovic, which is crazy, and he actually looked pretty good out there. They just got performances and results from like all over their lineup, and at some point we need to do a case study on Pete DeBoer in Game 7 because he has never lost a Game 7 in the NHL, which is legitimately unbelievable.
It's also concerning that he's been to that many.
I guess, but he wins them. So like, I don't know. But shout out Vigo Ranton, dude. Like that was cool as fuck. Like the fact that he comes in and like he has been getting shit on both by the Carolina fan base and like most of the Dallas fan base because he just has not.
Some Colorado too.
Yeah, well, mostly. Yeah, well, a lot of Colorado.
I think there's plenty that like are like, no, fuck the like front office, but some definitely were shooting strays over at Rantanen.
Right. But I mean, he showed up literally when it mattered most. Ends up being the difference maker at the end of the day. But also Jake Ottinger was fucking awesome pretty much the whole series. Again, maybe early on there were a couple goals that like were a little bit iffy. But we had talked about him and Hellebuck a bit different because we've seen like far more peaks and valleys with Hellebuck over his whole career. It's just the last few years the Ottinger like has been, we've seen some like iffy playoff performances, but he was really fucking good against a high octane Colorado team who throws nonstop, just shot volume at you. But that third period in Game 7 onward, they are halfway through the second period, and then the whole third period, Dallas just really took over, and it was very impressive. But that is a force to be reckoned with now. The fact that they also again might get Roberts and Heiskanen back here for the second round, that's huge. Obviously, it's hard to not feel significantly better about them now than we did before, especially just given what we watched from pretty much every team in the West outside of them. Like, I think they were probably the most consistently like well-playing team of all of them. So Dallas moves on. Shocking to me.
Who's set up for the draft lottery is funnier, Kyle Dubas or whoever stepped in for Lou Lamoriello?
Yeah,
because they're both comical.
Yeah.
13, which I don't remember who needed that one, but it definitely wasn't Pittsburgh. All right, it looks like they've got their decision. Who is it? But yeah, Dallas Stars have to be my team that's going to win it all now, which is crazy because I had Colorado going to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Again, mush.
I had them and Tampa, so, you know, it's great.
I feel like a lot of people had that. Wait, what? New York Islanders got it. That is some like Lou Lamoriello witchcraft. Wow. And so, of course, Pittsburgh falls back to 10 now. Son of a bitch.
This is disgusting. I hate it.
I think it needs to be said, though, whoever they end up taking with that first overall pick, it's mandatory that they come in with facial hair.
Oh, yeah,
full beard. Gone.
Full beard.
This is so... Wait, now they're doing another draw. Okay, so maybe Pittsburgh's still in the mix. But we're not going to pay attention to this anymore. That's crazy that Islanders made the jump, which would have never happened if it was done behind closed doors. Let's be real. Anything else you want to hit on with Rantanen and Ball?
Fucking draft lottery. That's insane. Anyways, we got to keep going, though.
Right. So did you want anything else on the Rantanen Bowl, or are we moving on to the Four Nations Goalie Bowl?
Yeah, no, I think we move on.
Jordan Binnington aggressively outplayed Connor Hellebuck, and somehow the Jets still advanced. If you told me that straight up, I might have said St. Louis in 5.
Yeah.
Famously, I said St. Louis in 6, and I'm yet again wrong. God, it was so good though. Like, how do you blow it at the end? And do the Winnipeg Jets just need to play without a goalie moving forward? Because they looked a lot better.
Everyone that has ever watched the playoffs the last 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, specifically the Winnipeg Jets, Connor Hellebuyck, everyone had the same question coming in. And the fact that we are moving on to the next round with bigger questions than we had before about him is fucking crazy. Or maybe it's not a question anymore. He is, like, it's a problem. Game 7 starts off. They gave him a goal in the first minute. And I literally at that point was like, oh, it's over. Like, there's no chance. Like, he's going to let in 10 more. And, like, we're going to have the same narrative about this fucking team in perpetuity. Now, the real question said, he did come back, made a lot of really big-time saves, obviously. Like, there were a couple odd-man rushes that Winnipeg uncharacteristically gave up. St. Louis threw everything they could at them. That was just a really fun series overall. It was kind of annoying that we had to, like, spend so much time, or, like, just, like, you had to, on the Hellebuyck thing. But it's, like, a legit problem, it would appear. It's like we're going to continue having this discussion. But the big thing, I tweeted the video of it last night. The big thing for me, Buchnevich up 1 with like 50 seconds left in that third period. The puck comes to him and he's got time and space to carry it or throw a bank pass to Robert Thomas, because it was clearly a set play who was bolting down the ice. He had plenty of time with the puck on his stick, either to just like flub one and give Thomas a chance to catch up to it, or again, throw it to his tape right off the boards and at least avoid the icing. He just tried to go bar Mexico from fucking 120 feet away and like missed, like he airmailed it and it was an icing. And obviously 50 seconds later, puck ends up in the back of the net. I mean, they had probably 3 or 4 of those, but at the same time, like that one was specifically that play from Buchnevich, who was a monster the whole series too, by the way. Like he was outstanding. It's the reason he was on the ice, like to close out that game. But that decision right there was like, I remember out loud being like, oh, that's the one that's going to come back to bite you, because you had time to skate it out of your zone. You had time to throw a bank pass over Thomas, or just again flip the puck up and let him chase it down, avoid the icing, because he would have beat it out. It's crazy that it came down to that. It probably came down to that play specifically, but overall, what a series. Perfetti was awesome the whole time. I loved watching him play. Very fun player. That first tip he had in Game 7 was legitimately outrageous. He looked like Crosby. That angle and the fact that he put it like right over, it was like a small window where he could like tip that puck and just nailed it, roofs it. Sick goal. He was awesome. And they got it done without fucking Scheifele. After what game was that he got hurt? But that's huge for them. Like they do that with Vlad Nemestikov playing 2C, scores a goal in this game too. Like I'm happy because I just like watching Winnipeg in the playoffs. But yeah, I did not expect this one to. If it was going to go 7, I didn't think the score lines would have been what they were. Like there were a few blowouts from St. Louis in St. Louis. And then Hellebuyck was obviously a big problem a few of those games. But it was just a fun series all around. Like it was just super physical, high octane, just nonstop. There was almost no lull in play. It was a very exciting series. Winnipeg obviously moves on, but like what a finish. Was it like 2 seconds left? They tied it up. And once that one went in, how do you recover from that if you're St. Louis, by the way? Like,
I think from you probably shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Yeah.
But like, they honestly, Game 1 is the one that they blew. They had that game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's tough. I mean, you talked about the stat for DeBoer. Jim Montgomery is famous for losing Game 7s. So
I look at the Game 7s that he's lost. I have a hard time putting it on him, especially the one in Boston. That one was legitimately outrageous. There was just a failure from the players, like a ridiculous failure. I saw a couple of those Montgomery. I was like, I fucking hate that tweet a lot. People try to throw these Game 7s in his face. Like, absolutely had nothing to do with him, but, whatever.
still
but
fun.
fortunately for Winnipeg, they're going to have home ice again. Like, apparently they need it.
Very much so. And so let's get into that then. Is this essentially Bill Guerin's tryout for who's going to be the Team USA goalie?
Probably at this point, honestly. Like, it's just the Hellebuyck thing really is breaking my brain. Like, I just don't like a couple. Like,
is he good now that they got over the hump of the first round? Like, is he going to reset?
Maybe that's
or...
the key. Well, I guess. Well, game one, we're going to learn a lot. I don't know. I like.
How Winnipeg disrespectful is it for me to say Dallas in 5?
I mean, given what we watched, I don't like. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I'm probably gonna say Dallas in 6. We'll see if Scheifele's back. That's gonna be. They're gonna desperately need him probably. But I mean, again, this is like a Winnipeg team you feel significantly worse about after one round, and then Dallas team you feel significantly better about after one round. So, I mean, I actually do think this is probably going to be like a game one that we will be like, all right, let's see how this goes here. Like specifically really with Hellebuyck.
Just for Hellebuyck for sure. And Cosgrove with the best stat of all stats that came out the last couple days. -10 goals saved above expected, and still wins the series. That's crazy.
It is nuts. He did make a couple huge saves in overtime. I gotta say, there was like 2 or 3 odd man rushes too. There was like pretty much St. Louis's only chances. But I mean, yeah, we're gonna learn. It is like game one. We're gonna see. I mean, they're gonna be at home, so maybe we actually realistically he had a couple of really bad games at home anyway. So I don't know. But what a fucking stretch of hockey from St. Louis though. Like once they hired Montgomery really well. until literally last night, like very impressive. Like overall, it's a brutal way to lose, obviously, and have your season end like the most brutal way humanly possible. But in totality, they have to feel really fucking good.
A good kick in the dick like that though can be what like spurs an incredible offseason for them to like just come in ready to go.
It'll be interesting to see what moves they make too, yeah.
And just some of their youths getting a little bit more experience. But yeah, all right. So you got Dallas in 6. I got Dallas in 5. Takes us to the last string. We've got the Gretzky Bowl that holy crap did that get turned on its head. Like every game felt like a very different series. And
I told you, every game felt like a game 7 until the last one. Until game 6. I was like, Edmonton just kicked a shit out of them in game 6. I mean,
and we have to say R.I.P. in peace, Rob Blake. Pour one out.
Yeah, he's done. Mutually agreed to part ways. I really
that should be banned. By the way, we can't say mutually parted ways anymore because there's no chance that was mutual.
Yeah.
Hey Rob, do you want to keep doing this or not?
No.
No.
Just get me out of here, dude. But I mean, realistically.
Pittsburgh went back 2 spots? What the fuck?
After game 5, it was absolutely over. I was so confident that the Kings after that game 5 were going to have absolutely nothing to offer in game 6. And Edmonton just did that seemingly without playing like any defense whatsoever until game 6. But they did that without Matthias Ekholm. The Kings were fucking unbelievable those first 4 games and most of game 5. And like
the first 4, really?
They could have won all 4. They should have won all 4 of those fucking games.
Yeah, but there's still plenty of concern that comes with them not doing that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like they were like dominating for most of those 4 games and probably should have won all 4. And even the ones that they did win, like you said, though, like they gave up that huge lead in that first game, which was outrageous. The fact that they won a regulation is very funny. Like in that game specifically, it was just like what a kick in the dick if you're Edmonton. But at the end of the day, they get the last lap. But again, the fact they did this with no Ekholm is insane.
No, that's my Ekholm thing, dude. I said it before. Like I would have picked them with Ekholm
with 2 traffic cones in net. It's, I mean, unbelievable. But that's one where you look at the coaching, just the usage, the strategy. Jesus Christ. Like, how are you putting players on the ice for 3 minutes, including overtime? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Again, that's where I landed after game 5. I was like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? Like, if you were like, let's just sit in against Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the rest of them. Let's just sit in, let them cook. Let's just try to keep the puck out of the net. Seemed to be their strategy those last couple games there. But Edmonton just comes out, and I mean, I don't think at any point in Game 6 did I feel like LA was going to pull this one off. But it was just crazy how hard that series turned after Games 4 and 5. In unforgivable decision making. So another one where you feel really good after 4 games. And now I feel absolutely terrible about the LA Kings.
Do you think they felt really good, though, after the 4 games? I'm saying like the
maybe
player.
Not 4, maybe the first 3, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, that was just so strange. And there's no more intriguing creature in the playoffs than Evan Bouchard.
Yeah, he's a fascinating hockey player. I mean, Connor McDavid might just set a new playoff scoring record every series, or like every year now. Like, I don't know. He's going to set records like every time he steps on the ice. He is just a scary person. Yeah, like imagine it's like when the minivan man was mic'd up during that like Lake Tahoe winter thing when McKinnon started skating. It was oh no. That's how you have to. If I'm on the ice, McDavid touched the puck, full head of steam. I'm like, change. Even from the fucking goal. If I'm Darcy Kemper, I'm like, change. Pull me off, please. For the love of God. This guy's running at me at 200 miles an hour with the puck. But I mean, this style just can't work in the playoffs. And Edmonton's like, nah, it'll work a little bit though. It'll be fine.
I feel like everyone is giving Edmonton way too much credit when a lot of it should be how poorly LA executed and failed to close out games. Like,
I feel like I've seen a lot of that though.
I feel I'm going to eat these words so hard, but like you just said, these antics for Edmonton, that can't work with Vegas. It cannot. The X factor would be, do we think that Minivan Man is going to try and like remove limbs from Draisaitl again?
Probably. He thinks that's how you play, you know?
Will that make Draisaitl better?
I was going to say, the key is Draisaitl needs to be playing on one leg, and all of a sudden he's 3 times the player. It's fucking unbelievable. That year that he legitimately didn't have an ankle and he was scoring like 3 goals per game, it's like, what is going on?
Yeah. Let's flip to the Vegas side of things, right? And we don't have to go heavy on the Wild because like right after this we will just like do a full Wild debrief. But like Vegas is such a balanced team, top to bottom. Sure, is Aiden Hill the guy that you like are confident riding? Maybe not, but you're literally looking across the aisle at the only goalies that you're actually take it back. Them and Connor Hellebuyck, which is crazy to say, are the only goalies you're like less confident in. Like, I just don't. With the Wild keeping the series as interesting as it was, like I'd say 50% on the shoulders of Philip Gustafsson, Edmonton's going to have a real hard time.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas has, like, there's just no soft spot in that lineup. Like, and also you're looking at one of the best coaches in the league in Bruce Cassidy, who will absolutely make adjustments every 5 minutes if he needs to. He's not afraid to make changes on the fly. But they are built to withstand that kind of pressure from Edmonton. Like, they're very suffocating. Their defense, they're big, lumbering defensemen who will kill you every time you cross the blue line. And again, like last week, we jumped on here. Like the one thing that made me concerned about where we were at that point in the Wild and Vegas series when Wild were up 2-1 was like, Eichel is starting to heat up. Like, this is what he does in the playoffs. He starts slow, and once he gets going, there's virtually no stopping him. So that's going to be very dangerous for Edmonton. It's good. The thing with like how good Minnesota's playing against them was like they were so suffocating on guys like Eichel too. Like as the series went on, they found a way to find more space for themselves. There's going to be plenty of space for guys like Stone and Eichel and like everyone else to gallop. That's going to be a big time problem, especially if they still don't have that comeback, which I don't think they do. I think Vegas is going to be way too disciplined, way too organized, way too structured for Edmonton to fly quite as high. I mean, they're still going to get their points. Like guys like McDavid, Draisaitl, they'll still be scoring. At the same time, I think this is one where like it's just going to be too much from Vegas. Again, Eichel heating up is a big problem. And Stone was fucking unbelievable those last like 3 games of that series too. Like he was a monster. Some of the plays that he was making were unbelievable. Why not? I mean, I'd be curious to see if they attack it differently.
Well, I think the real answer is: are they going to keep McDavid, Draisaitl, and Perry together? If so, then yeah, keep that line together and match them toe to toe, and you're feeling pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Edmonton's blue line, no. Edmonton's goaltending, no. Like, am I going to sit here and say there's no way that McDavid and Draisaitl can carry them double-handedly past Vegas? Like, sure, that's a possibility that I will not rule out. But, dude, I don't see it.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I'm going with Vegas in 6.
God. That feels right, but I don't want to go with you. And like Vegas in 5 and Vegas in 7 both sound equally likely to me. I'm gonna say Vegas in 5. I don't. It's crazy because like I know McDavid and Draisaitl could steal 2 games, but I think Vegas is too much for this team. I'm saying Vegas in 5.
Vegas 5 it is.
Which I accept. Like any Edmonton fan who wants to like shit on me for it, understood, reasonable.
Yeah. That's the thing where it's like I also just can never fully confidently anticipate whatever Edmonton's going to do because it's like they play the least disciplined kind of playoff hockey. It's like, and it'll work. It works 60% of the time, 100% of the time. It's one of those.
Well, then I think we transition here to Minnesota Wild, and I'm okay largely letting the chat drive where we go with some of this. I'll let you just open up with wherever you would like to start. And there's a few things we'll for sure hit on, and again, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about a lot of this stuff as the offseason pushes on, but biggest thing you want to hit on for the Minnesota Wild, whether it's the season, whether it's the series, whether it's this offseason, like where do you want to go?
Yeah, and this is how we started off, like way when we first went live here. This is one where it's like the result is the same. The process or the way it played out in getting here drastically different. Like pretty much every time they've gone up 2-1 and losing 6, we feel terrible afterwards and like a joke. And like many games where it's like felt like the Wild didn't belong on the same ice. I at no point felt like that in this series. It was incredibly impressive. And it's also frustrating. It's like, man, what could this season have looked like if we just had like half of the amount of injuries? So big picture, but to just feel really good overall. Gustafsson was an animal. He was incredible from start to finish. Very annoying coaching decisions.
Would you feel any better than if the season went better the way we had hoped, but they're playing Dallas in the first round?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I feel like Vegas was like weirdly a good matchup for us, and we just couldn't execute where we should have. And I think it goes right to what you said: bad coaching decisions. And the jury's out for me. I don't know who's making these decisions because it's happened year after year. I really like. There we go, Cameron. Like Billy G making the lineup wouldn't shock me at all because guess what? We've seen the same freaking result every year since he came here. It doesn't matter who the coach is. Weird decisions being made. Let's play the heavy guy. Let's play like, dude, there is no chance that John Hines is the one saying, yeah, let's keep Gustav Nyquist in the lineup. That's Billy G saying, hey, we got to find a way to make this trade not look so terrible. And just kept digging himself a bigger and bigger hole. That's the one. It's the hypocrisy for me to Cam's question with the coaching decisions. You know what? We're going to give Gustav Nyquist a chance to work through this one and go out and redeem himself. Meanwhile, one penalty and Zeev Buium doesn't get let back out on the power play in overtime that could have made the difference. Marco Rossi got sent down to the fourth line and plays really well, never gets elevated, even though half the people playing above him played like shit. If you actually want to take the approach of like, oh, we want to let him play through it and make up for his mistake, like, I get it. But this is a guy who has done nothing since he got here. Nothing to show for Gustav Nyquist, who said he'd love to be back with Minnesota. Fans will burn shit if that happens. Burn shit. And I don't know. The whole scenario is just crazy to me, man. Like, this is the first time ever, flat out, not lying, ever, that I've looked at the Wild and thought, shit, they could win. And they should have. And I feel bad for the guys that were going, dude. That first line, Foligno, Hartman, they deserved better. Faber, Gustafsson, they deserved better. But there was a lot of passengers. And, like, am I going to sit here and blame Freddie Gaudreau that he was playing above Rossi in the lineup? Like, no, that's not his freaking choice. But, like, still, dude, be better. Like, he had a great season. I felt very bad about things I've said in the past about Freddie Gaudreau. Then postseason comes and we're back to the pumpkin. Like, I don't know, the coaching decisions baffled me. I was so upset. But to Russo's and Joe Smith's point that's been echoed for several months, we clearly know how they feel about Marco Rossi. So there's not even anything else for me to say regarding whether or not he'll be here. It's just great. What's the fashion in which he leaves?
Yeah. Yeah, where I landed on that one too, it's like, regardless of who is making the decisions, right? Moving, like, I did not, obviously, I don't think anyone agreed with moving Rossi down to the fourth line, like, at your first opportunity to do so. But then, even then, it works. Scores in 2 games. And let's say, like, you know what? We still want to stick him with, like, let's say you like that trio. Like that, because they also did a lot of really good things on that forecheck, coughing up pucks, like extending possessions, like at the same time. Fine, keep them together, give them more ice time. That was my big thing. Where it's like, fine, if you want to keep these lines together,
make them the third
like,
line.
If you like how, yeah, exactly, where it's like no one would have been arguing with that because you were getting production. And then, like, there were plenty of times where it was like when they did get thrown out on the ice, it was like, well, this is like a 0-win opportunity for them. Like, they're getting these like ridiculously hard minutes, being asked to do things that like this is Brazo's second ever playoffs, Shedden's maybe third, Rossi's first. Like, and we're gonna throw them out for a D-zone face-off at the end of the game or an overtime, like crazy. Like, it's just like that's the opportunity you want to give them right now. That was the big minus for me was the fact that, like, fine, keep them together, but like leverage them significantly more, use them way more. Like we talked about it in game 4, I think it was, where Rossi scores, and then those 3 guys are on the bench for 15 minutes. And like he's like, well, there was some special teams came in. It's like there was 1 penalty for each team. So that made no sense. And it was just this like dedication to just stapling them to the bench as much as possible, like not really giving them much more than like 9-10 minutes. It was mind-blowing to me. So that's and Cam Meyer just said it, the double standard for young players boggles the mind. It really is unbelievably frustrating. And
now, what I will say though,
crazy, but also too, sorry, real quick though, like even with the Buium thing, right? Fine, like really fucking tough first couple games for as far as like NHL experience goes. Like it's about the hardest possible environment he could have been in. Hardest team, though, like the hardest situation for a guy to like go from college to the NHL, make that jump. Even then, whether he was in the lineup or out of the lineup, you can't play him and Bogosian or Merrill and Bogosian a ton of minutes. So that means you are fucking overloading Jake Middleton with like and Brody on the left side there. They're being thrown on the ice like every other shift, and like it leads to a couple massive goals. It's like, yeah, they're fucking exhausted. It's like, of course. And even then, like when you throw like defensemen over the boards for a shift once every like 15 minutes, yeah, they're gonna be a little rusty. They've been on the bench watching for 15 minutes. Like that's how that's gonna go. So you're like bound to give up like chances that way too. So that was the big thing for me. But like it's weird that it's like it feels like it was such a winnable series. If not for some of those decision making, who knows? Like even if they like it could have gone the other way regardless, or it could have gone this way regardless. If you played, but like the questions are there, and it's really that's the most frustrating part. It's just like the clear double standard for young players. Like I mean, at one point we talked about too, like why not fucking throw in Liam Ogren instead of Gus Nyquist at this point? Like what? Like literally, what are you getting with like jumping over the boards? Like I don't know, but it's what it is. But all that again,
Mateo, you are throwing these up really fast. So pause on some of those and throw them back up if you want us to talk about them. But for me, Z, the biggest thing that I saw some people saying is like, oh, look at these other teams playing Snuggerud or like doing whatever. Like you got to play these guys and get them experience. Like Buyam needs this experience. Ogren needs this experience. I think that's an absolute load of shit. You don't just play the guys for experience. You play to win the games. So if you truly think that Merrill over Buyam is going to give you a better chance to win, if you think Gustav Nyquist over Liam Ogren is going to give you a better chance to win, you do it. I just question whether or not that's valid, right? But to give the blanket statement of, oh, we need to play these younger guys and get them experience. No, it's the playoffs. That's not how this works.
Right. And I mean, like you said, like to that point too, if you feel that like Bogosian and Merrill gives you a better chance to win over Buyam and Bogosian, then that means that like that would lead me to think it's because you can play Merrill and Bogosian more than you can like play Buyam and Bogosian, or at least more situations. And instead they play pretty much the exact same amount of time. It's just like and also like you still get nothing on you don't have the power play option. Like so you take away one option, play them the exact same, and like end up with the same result anyway. So I don't know. Like
well, dude,
where we're at.
You know my favorite storyline. Apparently, that overtime goal was all Marco Rossi's fault. Not Bogosian's, not Merrill's. It's only Marco Rossi's. Fuck all of you.
Yeah,
God damn it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that he didn't, like, make a mistake on that play. But for him to be targeted out as the guy that blew that is insane to me. It's insane to me.
Yep. That's what's frustrating. So, and it's just funny that all this comes back to the fact still felt really good about the whole fucking series. It was a winnable series for them like the whole time. So,
yeah, and I think the other thing too, because like I mentioned, right, if Mike Sullivan hadn't made a decision yet, like if you're Bill Guerin, you have to consider him. This is not a fireable season for John Hines. It's not. He had a great regular season. Postseason didn't go great, and again, I don't know if John Hines made these decisions or if Bill Guerin did. I genuinely don't know. But obviously, there's more of a microscope now next year. Like, there's going to be higher expectations. And let's be real. Losing in the first round, I don't care what the scenario is. I don't care if it's like the Avalanche getting bounced this year. It's going to be unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we would be remiss to not mention it was absolutely massive to see these performances from Matt Boldy, Kirill Kaprizov, obviously Gustafsson too, but then getting the contributions from guys like Foligno and Hartman. Hartman potentially saved his Wild career. Just how frustrated they were after that 8-game suspension.
He played great.
How good he just was in this series. Like never lost his cool. Probably could have a few times. Scores both goals in that game 6. Like he was fucking awesome. So he potentially is someone who just saved his career with the Wild. I mean, his Wild tenure. Just with how frustrated they were after that 8-game suspension earlier in the year. But they were fucking incredible, which is huge for them.
And Fire Voracek, I want to be fair because I've been critical of Merrill, and the second that goal was scored, I was shitting my pants. Like, what the fuck is Merrill doing where he was at? It's an understandable mistake, but it's still one that you can't make in that situation, right? Mm-hmm. And he wasn't awful. Was he great? No. Would Buyam have been enough worse that it doesn't warrant bringing him in to also benefit the power play? No. But I'm also not going to sit here and shit on John Merrill and be like, you fucking lost us this series. He was John Merrill. He was fine until that goal where I was very appalled that he's at the top of the circles. I don't care if he's following his guy and they're in man coverage. You got to have your fucking head on a swivel. And as a defenseman, you don't go high like that when you see that the puck's going below the net. Like, that guy's out of the play. You got to at least turn around and look. Because guess what? If he does, he gets there in time to make that stop. Does that mean it's his fault? No. I think you can put various blame on Bogosian, on Rossi, on Merrill. Like, Rossi's not blameless in that goal. But the way he's been singled out is insane to me. I'll never get over that. I want to know now, what's the edict for the offseason? Obviously, getting Kirill Kaprizov done as close to 12:01 on July 1st as possible is ideal. And he said there shouldn't be any reason it wouldn't get done, which I hate that fucking language. But I'm terrified to think about what Bill Guerin's going to go out and get, especially when his last free agency splash is probably the worst signing in his tenure with Yakov Trenyan, which he played great in the playoffs. He redeemed himself. But guess what? If that's only going to be what he brings, is postseason fourth-line minutes depth guy, you can't be giving him a 4x4. What the fuck? So that's a horrible signing. But, like, dude, from everything that Russo and Joe are saying, it looks like they're going to go after Brock Nelson after he shit himself with Colorado. They're probably going to overpay him to do it, and they're going to have him as the replacement for Rossi, and that disgusts me. That disgusts me that you would take a 35-year-old Brock Besser over Marco Rossi. It's insane. Cody Hunt wants to know, would we rather have EP40 or MM16, and what would it cost to get EP40? I mean, the reality is, if you can get Mitch from free agency rather than trading for Pettersson, that's definitely a win. And I like Mitch Marner better as a player, but you've got the center aspect, and I don't think Mitch Marner has any interest in signing with the Wild, if we're going to be completely honest with ourselves. Pettersson scares me. Like, the fact that he'll be in a full, like, protected contract once he's here, if you did trade for him. Granted, the upside is immense. Like, just imagine him playing with Kaprizov and or Boldy. But that proposition, like, what you'd have to give up for him, I don't know, man. I'm probably not really into that. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'd lean more on keeping, like, if you could keep Rossi, and if you had the choice of
that's not happening.
No, I know. But this obviously, I don't think fucking Pettersson or Marner's happening either.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm like, this was the question was those two. So, like, in my head, the ideal thing would be keep Rossi, sign Marner in free agency. Like, I am one of the more positive ones still on Pettersson. I just think he's a fucking incredible hockey player in a crazy market with crazy situations going on in the last couple of years. That's my preference for sure. I don't see their thing happening because, like, for me, it's just like, it's ludicrous to think, like, you watched how good Boldy and Kaprizov just played with Eriksson Ek. You have Marco Rossi right there, who's your second leading scorer. He's the only guy that's played in every game the last 2 years. He's stayed healthy since coming back from fucking almost dying. And then you saw how good Ryan Hartman was for you in that fucking postseason and how good he's been. Like, you have three centers that could play right there. It's insane to me, the idea of, like, shipping out the youngest of those three, who has been your second leading scorer, to bring in Brock Nelson, who's 34, 35 years old. It's crazy to me. So that's where I'm at with that, which is what I'm scared is going to happen. And again, like you said, it feels like that's kind of what they like, the idea of. Really don't like that. I don't know. Like, the whole Rossi thing to me is mind-boggling, just given the fact that he's been so good the last couple of years. You're seeing everything that they've asked of him, he's done. And I mean, he's even produced when he's been, like, staples to the bench at times. Like, so I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever get it. But it feels like that's just what reality is, and it sucks. So for me, yeah, if those two options on the table, I'd probably lean on Marner. the money at him, throw money at Kaprizov. You can get Rossi for less than apparently whatever the fuck Nelson's going to get anyways. So there it is.
So how do you feel about Brock Besser, who's the other Brock that everyone's going to be talking about?
You can talk me into it. Depends what he wants, like how much money he wants.
Yeah, the contract, the term, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
I'm scared about what they might invest, but like I don't hate him being a guy that can play on your second line and actually give you another dimension of offense. But if he comes in and he wants like a 9x7, no.
Right. Yeah, no, that's scary.
Sorry, like Ben Hankinson, I love you, buddy. And I'm sure you can get that from a team, but I don't want it here.
Yeah.
And people are talking about like, oh, would you keep Nyquist if it only cost $1 million? No, because that's a roster spot that we're taking away from young guys yet again. And he can't do it. He can't.
Yeah.
If they give him, even if it was league min, I'm gonna be so upset.
Yeah.
Nothing against him. I'm sure he's a great guy, but
sure he's a beauty. Yeah.
Just a hard and fast no for me. How much is Kaprizov going to get?
Well, he's got a blank check waiting for him, so think he touches 15?
I think he absolutely could. I still wonder, like, is the conversation, all right, Kirill, here's a piece of paper. You write your number down. Just know that the higher the number is, the less help you're going to have. Take your pick.
I think that's what the conversation probably is and probably should be, to be honest with you.
People think that he'll go 13, and I think that's not happening. I think 15 is about right. 16, I'm okay with. I'm not as happy, but I'm not going to say no. If it's a 17, that's when I'm a little wary. But again, you're going to do whatever you have to do because you cannot afford to lose him. So, yeah. But I think 14 and a half, 15 is probably the number in my mind. If he takes less, awesome. Like, I will be thrilled. But I don't know. Oh, here's a real question. Z, does Billy get baited by contract year JoJo again?
He might.
He looked good.
He looked good. As much as I love JoJo, I'll lose my shit.
Tell you what. If it's between him and Nyquist, I'll take JoJo.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. These are really, like, there have been so many times now where I'm like, man, this option feels, or this like possibility or whatever is on the table. It's like, that feels like the obvious decision that they should make right here. And they're like, yeah, we fucking hate Marco Rossi, actually. Like, oh, shit. I didn't see that one coming. Oh, no.
I'm just like so nervous about where Rossi might end up.
I'll take him.
Yeah, Cole, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, man. Mateo asked, how long after July 1st does the trade conversation start? For me, I'm giving it a week. After that, I'm scared.
Yeah, probably. It's probably where I'm at.
You can't afford to lose him. You cannot.
Well, also, like,
lose a trade.
Let's say you're trading him and you're intending to sign the replacement or whatever. How many guys are available 7 days after July 1 that are worth like throwing legit dough at? You know what I mean?
And Cosgrove is replying to him, and Cosgrove, July 1st is relevant because Kaprizov cannot sign his extension until then. Yeah. Okay, sorry. We did mean Kaprizov, yes. No, Rossi will be traded before the draft.
Yeah.
He has to be. If he doesn't, it's because the market for him is so bad that they couldn't pull the trigger on anything.
Yeah.
Which, after the way he was deployed, his value can't be high.
Yeah, it's not like they fucking like did anything to boost the stock, you know what I'm saying?
I don't understand why you do, like, you've got to have some level of like petty bitterness towards a guy to not only hurt the team and hurt him to the point that now you can't even trade him, but hey, you proved your fucking point. Good job, Bill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to sign my Rossi jersey, by the way.
Yeah, I guess so. All right.
Motherfucker. What jersey do I need to get to like really test this out though? Because like I can't do someone that's already been signed. Like if it was like Boldy or Faber, it's like, well, no, they're here long term. I need it to be a young guy that people are confident in. And I will not do Zeev William because I would be terrified to be the cause of that. But pretty much anyone else is on the table. Ooh, Yurov could be a good one.
That's where I was about to go. Yeah.
Yurov could be a good one. If someone sends me a Yurov KHL jersey, it'll be up immediately.
Yeah. Last thing on this though that we have to at least mention is Marc-Andre Fleury. The fact that he got traded and re-signed here was fucking awesome for this franchise. Like, having players like him not only like whatever accept the trade here, but then choose to stay and like clearly love it, accept the role. At no point was he bitter about not being like the 1A or whatever. Like, stuff like that to me is huge for organizations like the Minnesota Wild, where it's not necessarily like a hot spot for like some of the biggest stars in the show to sign or whatever. It was really fucking cool having Marc-Andre play for the Minnesota Wild for, what was it, 3 years, 4 years? Like, very, very cool. Got a lot of good performances. Got a lot of great fucking just like overall media presence in general. Like, really cool dude. Obviously a legend in the NHL. It was fucking awesome to have him here. Like, it's very, very sad to see him go. Whatever they have to do to keep him around, do it. I don't care. Him and Zuccarello, whatever that fucking guy decides to stop playing hockey. that'll be part of the Kaprizov contract too, Zuccarello.
Yeah, his comments were fun.
Yeah.
If I end up in the front office, I'll get Kaprizov to sign.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Player GM. Yeah.
That's fun. No, how do we feel about the goalies going into next year?
Well, I mean, you have to be worried now, but like, it is what it is. Like, I don't know. It was obviously just an unbelievably turbulent year for Jesper Wallstedt. Like, starts off, hey, we're gonna rotate 3, which was fucking never gonna be a good idea. It was never gonna work. It was ludicrous. I think he had 3 different injuries this year, and he's playing in fucking Iowa, which we've addressed before. Like, that should be pretty close to the top of their list for things to address this offseason as well. I really strongly believe that. I think actually Russo put that in his article too, like the checklist for the Billy G offseason. They really need to do something about Iowa. Like, it is not a development friendly place at all. Like, some of the guys that have come up here, like, how many players have done extended stints in Iowa and come up and like become legit impact guys long term?
Is that because of the roster, or is that because of the way that like the team is coached and managed? Because I would argue next year is an interesting one where there will be bodies. You will have talented players. If it fails next year, we got real fucking problems.
Yeah, so when I look at like the rosters that they've had over the last few years, it's been like either way too many of the young guys and not enough like if you look across like the playoffs in the AHL, there are plenty of teams who have guys that have just been career AHL guys, like putting up 20 goals, 25 goals, or like older, whatever, like ex-NHL guys. I would see it feels like it's either way too much of one or the other, where it's like, hey, we got a ton of young guys. Oh, the NHL team had a bunch of injuries. We got to like call them up to sit in the press box a little bit. The rest of the lineup's like either just like all ECHL guys, or like 1 or 2 dudes are like 38. And it's like the mix just has never really been there. And I also, like, if you ask me what their play style has been the last 3 years, it's just like, I don't know, fucking hope every time they touch the ice. Like, it's their defensive game has been unbelievably atrocious. And a lot of that is personnel. It's like they went from having all like just pure vets with 1 or 2 young guys. Now recently it's been like 6 young guys like that have never played pro hockey before like last year or 2. And it's like, it's just not a development friendly place. which is like super concerning, especially when you look at like how many young players are going to be there in the next few years and have been there. Like guys like Lambos, O'Rourke, like we could talk about all of them. There haven't really been a whole lot that have made like a huge step forward, and I think that also like complicates trying to fill up your NHL lineup like years in advance too. So, because like again, like a lot of these guys on paper, when you look at just like their potential, like they come in like super high, and now it's like it's starting to stagnate just given how not development friendly environment it is in Iowa. So I still think they really like that should be very high on their list of things to do this off season, or at least like put the building blocks in, because it's been a shit show.
It has. That's very fair. And to Cameron's point, what would be the most cynical, diabolical places for Rossi to land? Like, I would hate it if he ended up in Chicago, Philadelphia, or New York, but it's for purely selfish reasons. I hate those teams passionately. For Wild fans, if he were to come in and have like a really good playoff series as a 2C, what's the one that would sting the most if it was against the Wild?
Well, it's got to be either fucking Dallas or Colorado.
But I don't think Dallas, he gets into the lineup just because of how much they have at their disposal. I think it's Colorado or St. Louis. I think St. Louis would be the one that would really fucking sting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Just gave me a...
Yeah, I'm with you, Cosgrove. Blues would be diabolical, but Colorado could be brutal too, just because of like their historical lack of center depth. Yeah, I don't know. But I know you had a supposed hard stop 7 or 8 minutes ago. Do we punt Europe top 10 to next Monday? And if there's a hard stop that you have, you communicate it to me ahead of time. Because I'm not sitting here trying to make you stay on longer. Like, if you got shit to get to.
Maybe realistically, it would have been, it's better to just do the full Minnesota thing / first round recap today, and then actually be able to spend significantly more time on the full top 10 list. Plus, it gives me more time to.
Tell you what, we're doing the full top 10 list, but we're also going to come in with the lottery teams. We got to come up with like a mock draft for next week too.
Yeah, we
based
can just
on
go
the teams now being in place, you know?
Yeah, no, we can go draft heavy.
We'll go draft heavy, and we'll talk whatever comes out, obviously, from the Bill Guerin and John Hines press conference. Any other, like, moving and shaking, like maybe Rossi gets traded in that time. Who knows? Yeah, so we'll go a lot heavier on that next week, and we will not get out of it. But otherwise, no, I think we're in a good spot. Any other like Wild specific things you guys want us to hit on last second here before we peace out? Let us know. And again, like, we're back every week. We have no shortage of time to cover the plethora, or as Isha might say, plethora of Wild things that are going to be top of mind this weekend. And yeah, shout out Cam Myers. And actually, I said this weekend, I meant this off season. I don't know where my brain's at, but Cameron, we appreciate you, buddy. We appreciate everybody tuning in and being so active in the chat. There's a lot to be active in the chat about. The Wild have given us no shortage of bullshit. But it's crazy because I'm pissed off about so many things, but like I still have so much optimism to go off of from this playoff series. It's like, shit, if a couple things fall our way next year and coaching isn't a hindrance, next year could be a lot of fucking fun.
100%.
I wonder, my big question, and we obviously won't know anytime soon, but do they keep the first line intact to start next season? Because I'm really torn on whether or not that makes sense.
If Marco's gone,
then
gone. Yeah, like you have, I think so. Well, I guess it depends who you sign, but yeah, I mean, you're not coming in with fucking, like, you're not going to put Yarov in a top 6 center spot next year, so who even knows if he's playing in the NHL day one? Well, he might be in Iowa. Who knows?
He can't be in Iowa. I'm pretty sure that's his KHL contract. Yeah, and that's what's going to be discussed. Because isn't he going to be on the contract where, like, if he gets sent down, he has the option to go back?
I can't remember.
Like,
these contracts drive me nuts. Like, make it fucking easy.
Right.
Let me read it for 5 seconds. Like, oh, okay, I get it.
Dude, actually, one thing we got to throw in, because it won't be news anymore next week. Did you see what Penn State did?
Oh, Luke Misa?
No, better.
Yeah.
They're rumored to have offered a $250,000 to Porter Martone.
Oh my God. Hell yeah.
I did
Why
not
not?
like that as a gopher. Oh, Z, are you going to be out here for early October, BC, in the house at Mariucci?
Unlikely.
Yeah, I figured. I'm always going to ask.
I know.
At least you're not trying to lie this time.
Oh.
Dude, Barzell's not going anywhere. That's probably why Lou's gone, to be honest. He probably didn't want to pay Barzell what they need to pay him. Or didn't want to let him do press conferences. That kid rocks. I love Matt Barzell.
Yeah, he's a fucking beauty, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if you got to run, man, we can call it.
Sounds good. Thanks everyone for tuning in as always. We'll finally get back to full draft stuff, including the lottery, Europe minus Sweden top 10.
Dude, Boston
Whatever the
and
fuck
Pittsburgh
else
both
we,
moved back 2 spots. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, I knew Boston was going. I was like, whatever their best odds are, they're gonna go back one more. So of course they get 7. Oh well. It's always next year, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Later.